What's going on, everybody? Rob Doster here from the Field of 68. And today we're going to bring you another episode in our NBA Draft Prospect Profile series. These are going to be dropping throughout May and throughout June, a couple a day. So if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and do hit that like button. Anything that you can do to interact with these videos, it really does help the channel. It helps more people like you find this content. And since I have you here, make sure you check out our Instagram and TikTok pages. We are going to be pumping out more unique content over there throughout the spring and the summer heading into the 2022-23 college basketball season. Like, for example, did you know that Penny Hardaway was shot when he was in college? I didn't know that. You can find that story right now live on our TikTok and Instagram pages. The links for those are in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into another Field of 68 NBA Draft Prospect Profile.
Welcome to the Field of 68 2022 NBA Draft Profiles. I'm Jeff Goodman of Stadium, here with former Clemson shooter Terrence Oglesby, and we're going to break down the game of a guy that I know you're not as high on as some others, and that is Iowa's Keegan Murray, who exploded this year. As a freshman, averaged about 7 and 5, shot 30% from three. And then when Luka Garza left, it was Keegan Murray time, and he averaged 23.5 points a game, almost 9 rebounds, shot 40% from three, 6'8", 215, skilled, skill forward. That's what skilled, smooth. I really like him. And I would have a hard time thinking he's going to slip out of the top 6. And I know you kind of shake your head when I say that. Why?
Well, here's my issue with Keegan Murray. Great college player, not a good college player, a great college player. Anytime you're 4th in the country in scoring and you're getting almost 9 boards a game, you're doing something right. So I don't want to take away from what he's already done well. But the thing that worries me about Keegan Murray moving forward is his frame. Is his underwhelming athleticism. He's 6'8", he's listed at 225 online, 215 probably is what he really is, like you said, Jeff. But he's somebody that scored at the college level on a lot of post-ups and then a lot of re-entries into the post. That's not something that happens in the NBA. He's somebody who could shoot over top of college guys. That's not something that he's going to be able to because he's not able to create a whole lot of space because of that lack of athleticism. What he does do well, he can shoot the rock. But there's a lot of guys that can shoot the rock, especially when you're drafting in that 8, 9, 10, 11 range, which is where I think you could get good value out of Keegan Murray. Because of his limited athleticism, I think he's going to struggle to guard at a high level. I think he'll be decent. I don't think he'll be a great defender, but he's going to be somebody you can plug and play because of his ability to shoot the ball. I think his potential as a long-term role player in the NBA is very good. But if you're drafting in that 4, 5, 6, 7, you're hoping to swing and get a couple of all-star games out of this guy. I don't think that Keegan Murray is that. I think he's more of a James Jones type who can play a modern-day James Jones. James Jones would have been much better in today's game. So before people come at me, I think modern-day James Jones would have been a much better player in today's game because of how baskets are manufactured. He's somebody that needs to be a 3rd, 4th option, be solid, knock down shots, a Cam Johnson, if you will, who was drafted 11th a few years ago. I think that one's not very far off from what he can be. But the fact of the matter is, not a great athlete. He's not overwhelming physically. He's very frail. So he's not going to be able to get some of this deep post position that he got at Iowa. They're not going to re-enter the ball to him at the NBA level. How's he going to score? And his shot is not something that can come off of screens flying without being contested. I think he's going to struggle at points, and he's going to have a difficult time adjusting to the NBA game because of the size and athleticism. So is he a flash in the pan for 1 year at Iowa? I wouldn't say that. I think he could be a good NBA player, but when you're drafting that high, I think you need to be careful with guys that are so limited from an athleticism perspective and don't get enamored with the 1 year, 24 points a game, like we've seen happen in recent years. If some of these guys that score big time buckets at the college level, it doesn't always translate to the professional level.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's no doubt he's an average athlete, and there's no doubt he kind of looks like a professional scorer at the college level, right? Yep. Because he could shoot it from 3. He could put on the floor some, he could drive to the basket. He could post up. He could do everything. To me, at his ceiling, he's like Chris Middleton at his ceiling, but I know he can't create like Chris Middleton.
I was about to say, like, Chris Middleton's so good with the ball in his hands. That's a hard comparison.
It's not accurate today. It's not accurate. That would be the ceiling for me for Keegan Murray, what he could become eventually in terms of if he can face up and do a little bit more off the bounce. And that's going to be hard for him because, again, you know, the one thing I think he's got going for him, I think he's a high IQ player and a worker. And I don't think he has the mental makeup almost to be a star. That's not him. He doesn't say two words. He is super quiet. You talk to all his teammates. He doesn't say anything. He's about the right things. He wants to work on his game. That's all he wants to do. That's the positive and the negative, right? I'm not sure he's wired to be a star at the NBA level. The great part is he's going to be focused on the right stuff. He's not going to be out partying. When everybody else is out partying, that dude's going to still be in the gym getting better. So I like that part of it. But yes, is he limited athletically? Absolutely. Can he make up for some of that with work ethic, with understanding of the game, with being able to use angles and scouting reports and take advantage of guys? Yes. I think, again, at his best, he's a number 2 guy. More realistically, he's probably a number 3 or a 4 guy for an NBA team.
That's kind of where I'm at. But if you look at it just from a skills comparison, I think Tobias Harris,
that's a good one,
from Philadelphia, somebody who could do some damage in the mid post, somebody who could score from all different areas of court. The difference between those two guys is Tobias Harris' shoulders and his body type are a whole lot different. And Tobias Harris is a much better athlete. And I think he came out after his freshman.
Much? Does Tobias use his athleticism that much in the NBA?
Not as much, but the fact that he can hold post position in the NBA, he can score in that 15-foot range. Like, the problem with Keegan Murray is his shoulders aren't going to be able to hold off these NBA defenders like Tobias can. But from a skill perspective, they're very similar. The problem is he's not as big as Tobias Harris. So is he going to be able to get in some of those same positions? I would venture to say no. That's the reason I'm leaning more towards a Cam Johnson, somebody who could be a valuable role player, as opposed to somebody like a Tobias Harris who could get paid a ton of money, make an all-star game or two. That's the difference in my mind between a Keegan Murray, who's, you know, very frail. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to carry any more weight, and he's not a great athlete. So he's going to have to have his game on the perimeter.
Hey, you're talking about Keegan Murray like he's Chet Holmgren or something. Very frail.
No, I wasn't assigned Chet Holmgren, but I'll tell you what, you guys assigned me Chet Holmgren. We can go down that road too, baby.
Listen, I don't think Keegan Murray, when I look at Keegan Murray, I'm not like, oh my God, he is going to get killed, you know, strength wise. I still think he can put on another 10 easy. And I'm not saying he's going to be a defensive menace, but I think, you know, again, in the league, how many guys there are only so many Jimmy Butlers in the league. Okay. There are only so many guys, you know, that are two-way players that are going to be great on both ends. To me, you're drafting Keegan Murray for his offense. You're drafting him for his ability to score. And yeah, it may be more realistic that he's like a second unit scorer. Ultimately, that's going to be the biggest question mark. Is Keegan Murray a guy that, you know, can be an occasional all-star? Because if you're going to take him in the top, like I said, I think he can go somewhere, you know, 4 to 8, and it wouldn't surprise me. I think it
would do him a disservice. Yeah. I think Cam Johnson's a very good player. Averages over 12 points a game. Comes off the bench. Shoots the ball. Not a great athlete. Narrow shoulders. Pretty wide hips. So like he can hold off some guys. But like body type is fairly similar. Their ability to shoot the ball is similar. Neither one of them really created off the dribble all that much. Neither one of them could create a ton of space without any help. I think that's more so of what you're looking at the professional level.
All right, there you have it. Iowa's Keegan Murray. I'm a little bit higher on Keegan Murray than Terrence Oglesby, but both of us, I think, agree that it'll be interesting to see what he develops into in the NBA. Is he more of a role player, or is he a guy that can be a 15, 18 a game scorer, a Chris Middleton type, an occasional all-star, you know, not a great athlete, but again, had one hell of a year at Iowa this past season as a sophomore. For Terrence Oglesby, I'm Jeff Goodman of Stadium. Thanks for joining us. Field of 68 2022 NBA Draft Profiles. Make sure you subscribe. on the Field of 68 YouTube account. We're also on Twitter, and we are doing profiles of every single player you want to know about for this year's NBA draft.